Hello design lovers, it's the most wonderful time of the year, and today I'm sharing all of the holiday decor must-haves you need to create a classic look this season, as well as a few of my pro designer tips on how to recreate this timeless display in your home. We're starting with the Christmas tree and mantle, the heart of a festive holiday home. And everything that I've decorated with is now available in the holiday collection on our website at ashleychilders.com, which I've linked below. So this is a 12-foot tree, and one of my pro tips for decorating a large tree like this, or any Christmas tree if you want that classic look, is starting with ribbon woven in and out of the branches. So I've got two different ribbons in this tree. I've got a 4-inch ruby red velvet and a 4-inch sage green. And I just started at the top of the tree and wove the ribbons in and out. I love adding ribbon to a tree like this because it makes the tree feel fuller and adds a rich velvet backdrop for all the ornaments. For the ornaments, I started out with 3 large ones first. So we've got our large onion-shaped gold embossed ornament, and I love this one because it's got a really beautiful antique patina on it. I added in our large mercury glass pine cones and our large gilded metal mistletoe. Now, pro tip on large ornaments like this, I love to hang them first, and I like to tuck them back into the branches a little bit. It gives the tree a little bit more dimension and also reflects the smaller ornaments that are towards the front of the branches. For the medium-sized ornaments, I started out with our smaller mercury glass pine cones, our ruby red teardrops, which are super beautiful because they have this swirl pattern in the glass, a matte brown ball, our antique metallic balls, the frosted caramel ornaments that are on a ruby ribbon, and I love how the ruby ribbon on the ornaments ties in to our ruby velvet 4-inch ribbon that I've woven throughout the tree. And then of course, I've got our smaller gilded mistletoe. To finish out the classic Christmas look, I added 2 small green ball ornaments. One of them with a crackled glass finish and the other with an embossed relief. Then for the finishing touches, I added these LED clip-on candles, which are so cute and traditional. I absolutely love them. And then accented the whole thing with the frayed edge cream bows. I love how the Christmas tree turned out this year. It has a little bit more of a traditional feel than some of my Christmas trees in the past, but it gives our home that classic Christmas look that I was going for. For our holiday mantle, I went with a center swag for the garland, which is how my mother decorated our mantle when I was a little girl. So this display is nostalgic for me and such a classic way to drape the Christmas garland. Now for attaching the garland, I used 4 of the large 3M sticky hooks, which are super sturdy and hold the weight of the garland perfectly. Then I added 4 pieces of our willow pine garland, which are 73 inches long each. This garland is super full, so you don't have to double it up and it looks fabulous. I worked in 1 roll of our 2.5-inch ruby velvet ribbon, weaving it in and out of the garland, then topped it all off with a spool of copper fairy lights, which makes the whole thing look magical. Lastly, I hung 2 stockings and added our hanging golden bell cluster to one of them for a little extra sparkle. For the top of the mantle, I added in some clipped magnolia branches and our chisel candlesticks, and the whole thing just makes a beautiful classic Christmas statement. Now over to the mirrored armoires that flank each side of the fireplace. One of my favorite things to do when I'm decorating for Christmas is to accent my furniture with a little bit of holiday decor. And I've done that on these mirrored armoires with our bell keepers strap. So all of our holiday bells are handmade in a family-run Amish workshop in Pennsylvania. These are true Christmas heirlooms. They're hand-stitched leather and solid brass bells that make the most magical sound. Let me show you. Isn't that adorable? We have several sizes and styles in the collection this year, which I'll show you a little bit later. For the cocktail table in this space, I wanted to add just a touch of holiday decor. So I started off with this arrangement of cypress sprays. So I've got 4 of them in this vase, And I love these cypress sprays. I have them all throughout the house. They look very, very lifelike, and it doesn't take very many of them to make a really beautiful arrangement. Then I added our 2 bell stitch strap to the tabletop and then just draped a velvet ribbon on top of it. And then also added in a few of our mercury glass small little ornaments into this vintage bowl. Lastly, I added in our Daphne oil candle, and everything together creates a simple and elegant tablescape, which is exactly what I was going for. Now, let's head over to the foyer so I can show you the staircase and entry table. We've moved over to the staircase, and I want to talk about how I decorated it this year. So I started out with 3 of our willow pine garland. It's the same garland I used in the living room on the mantle. And I swagged it in that same classic Christmas way. Topped it off with these floppy brown velvet bows, and they're just loose and fun. And I love this brown velvet ribbon. It's 2.5 inches and it's backed with Dupioni silk, so it just adds that extra layer of texture. The last thing I did was add in this sleigh bell. So this is our largest sleigh bell that we have in the collection. It's got a gorgeous brown leather strap, all solid brass bells, and then it's got a buckle on it. So it truly looks like an authentic sleigh bell and adds to that classic Christmas charm right here at the staircase. We're at the entry table, and for this display, I wanted just a beautiful, simplistic statement because of everything that's going on in the great room, all the holiday decor that's in there. So I started out for this tablescape with our alabaster bowl and filled it with a little collection of mercury glass ornaments. I've got our Daphne oil candle. This one is the large size, a fluted vase filled with holiday stems, and then our leather brass strap, just this small little bell on the front. And that's really all you need right here at the entryway. Makes a beautiful statement and welcomes people in for the holiday season. We've moved a little farther into the foyer where it transitions into the great room, and I want to talk about how I decorated this area. So we've got our 8-foot willow pine swag over the mirror, and I love how this looks. I love putting this over mirrors, and then as you'll see a little later, over windows in the kitchen. It's so cute. I topped it off with our olive velvet frayed ribbon and then our little gold bells hanging down. We've got a couple of our stems here, added this little bow to this sculpture. That's really all I needed in this area. Makes a really beautiful statement, and I feel like it just looks super festive. We've made it into the kitchen, and I hope that you've enjoyed our holiday collection video so far. Now, I'd love for you to connect with me over on Instagram, Pinterest, and our blog at Ashley Childers Home and become a part of our design-loving community. Now, all things Christmas kitchen decor. So I started out the design in this room with 2 of our 8-foot willow pine swags draped over the windows that flank each side of our vent hood. I added in our frayed olive velvet ribbon and hung the golden hanging bell clusters in between, and I absolutely love the classic Christmas statement that it makes. Now over on the other side of the room, I've got 3 of our willow pine garlands on the floating shelves, and then I've just added some ruby silk ribbon to some of my pottery pieces and glassware. On the island, I've got our Arches vase and Arches tabletop pedestal with some brown ornaments and then just some magnolia branches that I clipped from the yard. And I just really love the simplistic statement that it makes on the island. Now our kitchen is open to our great room where our Christmas tree and mantle is. So I wanted to keep that color palette going and of course keep that classic Christmas theme in the kitchen, but also wanted to keep it simplistic because we entertain a ton during the holiday season and I needed room for everyone to move around and of course all the food that we'll be cooking. Now let's move on to the last of our entertaining areas. I'm going to show you how I decorated that space for the season. For For this last area in our great room, I wanted to just add a few holiday touches. So I started off the tablescape with an arrangement of those cypress sprays. And I want you to take note on how different they look in this vessel. That's because this vase has a really open mouth, so all of the sprays splay out, and I love how big of an arrangement that makes. I also added our 8-bell strap to this tablescape and then finished the whole thing off with ruby red tabor candles. Lastly, over on the other side of the seating grouping, I've got our Livingston vase that I added a few clipped branches of magnolia and cypress to, and that just made a really pretty holiday moment on the buffet. I've loved showing you around my holiday home, and if you want even more Christmas decor inspiration, watch this video next. Also, let me know in the comments which part of today's video was your favorite. I can't wait to hear what y'all think about my classic Christmas decor, and remember, the entire collection is available to shop now on ashleychilders.com. Thanks for watching, y'all, and remember, good design is for everyone. So create a home that inspires you. Have the very best time decking the halls with Christmas cheer and fall in love with where you live, one room at a time.